Hi, this is Joe DiMaio with FantasyPlayersEdge.com, here to recap Week 12 in the National Football League and take a look ahead to Week 13 in fantasy football. It was an odd week for quarterbacks, with both Ben Roethlisberger and Kurt Warner being late scratches due to the effects of concussions. Aaron Rodgers, the scoring leader among fantasy football quarterbacks, torched the Lions for 388 yards and 3 TDs, while Brett Favre picked apart the Bears, pitching for 392 yards and 3 scores. Inexplicably, Carson Palmer and Matt Hasselbeck came up empty against the lowly Browns and the St. Louis Rams, while Jay Cutler, a frequent visitor to the duds section this year, passed for 147 yards with 1 TD and 2 interceptions versus the Vikings. Vince Young proved that he's a good passer, and he's a solid addition at the position if you need depth going into the playoffs. Matt Hasselbeck has become an unreliable option in any format. This week it's safe to start Kyle Orton, who has a great matchup against the porous Chiefs defense, and Big Ben Roethlisberger will experience no headaches against the Raiders. It's prudent to sit Joe Flacco this week against an opportunistic Packers defense, and either Matt Ryan or Chris Redman, depending on who starts for Atlanta this week against the blitzing Eagles defense. Chris Johnson reaffirmed his credentials as the best running back in fantasy football. He sliced through the Cardinals for 186 yards and a score. Steven Jackson bowled for 116 total yards and a touchdown against the Seahawks. Fred Jackson appears to have regained the running back one job in Buffalo and gashed the Dolphins for 116 combined yards and 2 scores. On the other side of the equation, Michael Turner could only muster 33 yards against the Bucs before aggregating an ankle sprain, while Brandon Jacobs continues to underachieve, posting a 57-yard outing versus Denver. This is the week to start a much-maligned Matt Forte as he faces a Rams defense that allows 4.8 yards per carry. Thomas Jones will exploit a soft Bills interior defense, while Rashard Mendenhall has a premier assignment against Oakland's very soft rush defense. Sit Ryan Grant, Kevin Smith, and Justin Forsett this week. Donald Driver, Miles Austin, and Terrell Owens had terrific games at the wide receiver position, while Calvin Johnson, Carolina's Steve Smith, Chad Ochocinco, and TJ Houshmandzadeh disappointed. Start Jeremy Maclin, Devin Hester, and Chad Ochocinco, and sit Braylon Edwards and Santana Moss. This is Joe DiMaio with FantasyPlayersEdge.com, making sure